Hey guys, Lancy here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me while we look into the MTG market movers. And we're going to start off with standard and move all the way down to reserved list cards and revised dual lands. Let's get to it. So, some of the easiest to pick out standard moving cards are Ugin, because he's been reprinted, and now people are starting to realize that he's actually really good. I think they always realize he's good, but I think the market is starting to dry up for Ugin. So people are just picking him up wherever they can. Lurus, always an expensive card. It did drop after the banning, but he is still going up again. I always forget when it comes to standard that I don't actually own some of these cards. I own them in Magic Arena. So it's a bit of a problem because I'm like, oh, I have 2 copies of Lurus. No, wait, I actually don't. It's on Magic Arena. And there is no trading or selling in that game. So it doesn't really matter how many copies I have in there. Next is Thassa's Oracle. Now, this card is pretty amazing. Once again, I'm not too sure if I actually have it because it's hard to keep track of the newer sets. But it's a good card, especially for certain decks where you're trying to empty out your library or try to win by some kind of combo. And Grim Tutor is starting to increase as well in market value. Another one is Brazen Borrow, though I'm kind of confused by that. I think it's mostly from the Commander Rogue side because that set is probably rotating out soon, if I remember correctly. The next big ones are from all of the Strixhaven releases. Now, it's important to remember that when Strixhaven comes out, a lot of these cards are going to be inflated, but they're already starting to correct as it is currently. The Professor Onyx has dropped down by 40%, so that was around about $40+, at least as far as what people were expecting to pay for it. It's dropped down by quite a bit. Rowan has also dropped down by 50%. Amazing drops for some of these cards. Whether or not that means that this is a underpowered set, I am not too sure. I am going to continue doing a full set review for Strixhaven for anyone that's interested. Mainly because it's a good way for me to keep up with what the cards are, but I feel like there's a lot of cards in there that feel powerful for what commander decks are out there nowadays. So I think it might be overstating it if I just say they're not as powerful as the set, but we'll have to see. And for daily market movers, there are some broken cards. Test for Talents is a good, interesting counter spell, but I don't understand what's going on with these prices. It's just not something that bothered. I mean, I can be bothered looking into right now. Next, we're going to go straight into Modern. So Modern is a big one. So a lot of these cards are obviously moving because of Commander. Thrumming Stone moving up by 81%. Phyrexian Arena, that is a Commander card. It is moving up by... That doesn't feel completely right, but that is 8th edition Phyrexian Arena. But $40, 100%. I'm surprised it was $20 to begin with. Hex Drinker, yes, that's been moving up quite a bit. It's being played in quite a few decks as well. Kozilek, the Butcher of Truth, moving up by 15%. So now he has probably eclipsed what Liliana's move was the last week by moving up by 15%. Now he's $117. But Alkanori, yet to be truly reprinted ever since it was coming out, ever since it came out in Mirrodin, and I think it was also in what was the other set that it came in? I forgot. Conspiracy? Yeah, Conspiracy. The Fifth Dawn and Conspiracy, sorry. But between those two, I don't think they've actually had another idea to reprint it. And Hex Drinker is Modern Horizon only. That is insane for the foil prices. But just look at this move. $8.50 for most of its history. And now it's moving up to $45 as a piece. It is coming back down, but I wouldn't hold my breath that it's going to come back down to $8.50. Some of the dual lands are moving up as well. Doubling Season, of course, is going to move up. A lot of Strixhaven spoilers had +1/+1 counters, or counters in general. Pariah's Shield, because of Time Spiral's Stuffy Doll. I don't know if it actually was. I think Stuffy Doll probably brought this card to the forefront. I'm not too sure if I own it, but if you own it, I guess it's a combo as long as you can get Pariah's Shield out. But then again, you can only pick one person to target, so with Stuffy Doll coming into the Mikoko Honda Truth Seek. I think I butchered that. But moving up 30% to $34.99. I admit that a lot of these cards are one of those things where if you're a commander player that's been playing for a couple of years, you probably recognize all of these cards. But it's important to remember that they, Wizards of the Coast, nothing's holding them back from reprinting these cards. The fact that they're moving up this much just scares me a bit that it's going to put a target on these cards. But maybe it shouldn't really because I only ever have one of these copies in most cases, like one of each. So worst case scenario, it gives you a chance to put more into other decks that you're building. Top losers, Livid Legion. Another thing to note for this week and probably last week as well, which I might not have highlighted, is the movers positive. The way that the market is moving right now is people are buying cards. A lot of cards are not dropping in value anywhere near as much as people are buying them. It's a pump and dump scheme, but the dump doesn't happen as hard as the pumps. It's a weird situation where a lot of people, when they talk about markets in general, is market takes the, what is it, escalator up and the elevator down. This is starting to feel more like the elevator up and the escalator down. That's a weird situation to be in right now where you can buy one of these cards, sit on them for a while, and then expect to sell it again for a higher price. If everyone thinks the same way, then obviously it's not going to work. But right now it seems to be working in that idea. Gemstone Caverns dropping down by 7%, but that had a huge bump up. Sword of Feast and Famine dropping down by 4%. So the biggest drop here, Wheel of Sun and Moon dropping down by 7%, but that had a huge run up as well. So a lot of these cards, their run ups have been absolutely insane. And it's hard to predict where they're going to come back down to. They've all had a big bump up in the last couple of weeks. And yeah, like, sure, a Wheel of Sun and Moon might be coming down by 7%, but it's gone up from $10 to $40, which is 400%. So, give and take at this point. Another one that I wanted to highlight was Consecrated Sphinx, which dropped down by 10% today. But I think this is more important to remember that this card, so I'm looking at the Secret Lairs foil version, but let me just go to, no, Iconic Masters cheapest. That doesn't help. Uh, Trying to just find a. Okay, I have done this all wrong. Ready, but back. Ah, that's better. So this card used to be $20, or yeah, around about $20. Peaked up to $40, dropped back down to 30, and now is jumping up to 53, 50, yeah, $53 with a high of almost $60. This card will have to be reprinted at some point because it's such a commander staple. But here's the crazy part. If you think about that Secret Lair Extra Life, I think that was the secret. That was a $60 secret. This card is sitting around about $50 by itself, and that was Teferi's protection in that. So what concerns me is how many people bought that Secret Lair, and did people not take it seriously when the Secret Lair was released, or is it because they were protesting? Because I didn't go all in on this. In fact, I never go all in on anything because it's not a safe thing to do. You just, take your bets at that point. But when you have a move like this, where a one card and a Secret Lair is almost worth the entire Secret Lair was back then, that sets up a very bad idea for people in the future, where they might just go all out again buy the maximum amount they can. Everyone buys the maximum amount, and then they all try to resell it and then crash the market. What I'm worried about is is this going to happen with Consecrated Sphinx and other things like Teferi's protection, or did people not go all in for that extra life and maybe the current secret layers? I hate the fact that the foils are so bendy and just not worth it for people to collect long term or use certain decks. But it is one of those things to remember is secret layers are going to be piecemeal of the secondary market. If people just go all out and buy every single secret layer they can get their hands on, secondary market secondary market will be affected long term when people try to resell this back in. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, near mint foil, 63.98. Yeah, that's That's just the price that they're sitting on in TCG for the secret lair drop. We'll have to see what happens. Next, Pioneer. So Pioneer, we're going to go straight down to the weekly change. Porphyros, God of Forge, moving up by 40% almost to $32. Unordered Procession, moving up by 17% to $46. Omniscience, moving up by 34% to $25.62. Nickel Ballers, moving up by 18 to $35.62, 18%. Archangel of Thune, moving up by 20%, $31.57. Zakama Primal Calamity, moving up by 11% to $44. Growing Rights of Itlamork, moving up by 14% to $34. Kozilek's Return, moving up by 51% to $10.99. Helm of the Host, moving up by 14% to $26.50. And Liliana the Dark Realms, moving up by 14%. Dollars. Once again, when you compare these moves to the losers of the week, you don't get anything close to that. I know this is on Pioneer side, but this will move boxes. These numbers will move the boxes for Amonkhet, move the boxes for I forgot the set already, but M19, M14. These boxes will go up because these cards in them are moving up as well. The biggest losers are truthfully, nothing to do with the market as a whole, other than standard is rotating out, and cards like Rankle, Master of Pranks dropping down 20%, $13. That's still in the current standard meta. So, for that to drop, it just means that the rotation is coming, so people are going to give it up. It might bump up a bit if people use it in like certain influencers on YouTube. That's the only limit. Fiora dropping down by 14%, but she's a $3.83 $3 or $4 card, dropping down by 14%. These moves from the top winners to the top losers are about as separate as I've ever seen them. I've never seen so little drops and so much gains. And like, okay, top loser for today, Archangel was dropping down by 14%. But is this a pump? There hasn't been a dump yet. So is this what's happening here? Why are these cards moving up by more than 10% on average, while the weekly for the drops is less than 4% or 5%? So it's not matching where the money is going. It's just money's just flowing in right now. Moving on to vintage. So some of the vintage cards are obviously going to be pretty busted. You're looking at numbers that don't really make much sense when you compare it to like what the prices are. These numbers are just people fishing for offers, like Mind Twist from Beta moving up to $204,000, a 2% gain of $3,394. That just doesn't make any sense. The Mana Vault moving up by 52%. Library of Alexandria moving up by 70% this week. Strip Mine moving up by 79%. Even the drops, okay, the drops are actually pretty crazy. Unlimited Mox Ruby dropping down by 40% to $4,000. Black Lotus from Unlimited dropping down by 7% to $23,500. Mox Emeralds, Time Vault, Mox Pearl. Time Vault from Unlimited dropping down by 35%. Not too bad, but it doesn't really capture what's happening in the market right now, which is a lot of people just once again are trying to get rid of their cash and moving into collectibles and almost anything else they can get their hand. Legacy, similar story. You got an Underground Sea from Unlimited. Now this is weird because I called this out, and I'm pretty sure a couple of weeks ago I said, why is Unlimited like just like double the price of a revised? Should Unlimited not be like a bit more, like a couple more times the price of revised? This still feels like a weird buyout. I don't think the Unlimited Underground Sea is selling for $4,700. Maybe one sold, like a PSA 9.5 or a 10 sold for that much, but I can't imagine the random Unlimited Underground Sea selling for that much. But Unlimited is moving. That's a key highlight for this. Unlimited is moving, whether it's up or down. Reserve list revised hasn't really come up on this, but Unlimited has been moving. Quite volatile, I would admit. You got the Singing Tree moving up by 116%, Plateau moving up by 28%, Mishra's Factory from Antiquities Fall moving up by 213%, Birds of Paradise from Unlimited moving up by 57% to $425. And on the top losers, you have unlimited cards as well. You got Tundra dropping by 21% to $1,350. You got Brain Geyser dropping down by 20%. You got Magic Hack dropping down by 72%, and Winter Orb dropping down by 37% to $125. So I feel like the market is still too volatile. If I kept up with the market over the last couple of months, the spike that happened when people were expecting, I guess, a stimulus check to arrive has happened. But there is no real clear indication that things have settled down as they are right now. And until we can be 100% sure what the future, I guess, government and central banks issuance of like currency is, we can never be too sure what these prices are actually meant to be. Yeah. They increase interest rates, that pulls liquidity, which then, should mean that people cash out, but we don't know if that's actually ever going to happen. Not anymore, anyways. Revised edition. So this was one I pointed out to earlier, where at April 20th, 2020, it was almost $3,000. Then around about the end of last year, it went up to 4,700. And then I guess once we found out that we're getting, at least from the US side, they're getting a democratic leadership with a lot of support for easy money. Things just went crazy. It almost doubled in price, and we are yet to see a full recovery of that. I mean, a recovery, like a flat line back to a basic. If the basics level should be as smooth as what's been happening in the past, this is too volatile right now. It's still moving around quite rapidly compared to what it was in the past. I would prefer something to this. And right now it's been moving up and down by almost a couple of $100. And this is all of revised edition as calculated by MTG Goldfish. So that's a lot of volatility that's still being captured in this range. So I'm going to say that if you can buy into reserve list cards, I'd look at the ones that are good and still cheap, because there are still a few out there, and just keep an eye on those. But the problem is that you're probably not going to get the quality that you're expecting. A lot of those got bought up and were kind of forced to be a lot more expensive than they really, at least back in the day. Same thing that goes for revised goes for obviously dual lands. The dual lands have been stable for a while now, sitting at almost 3 times the price that they were at April 20th. So no luck for my Tiger purchase from revised. It has not come anywhere close to what I would have expected, and for the last 2.5 months, it's been sitting at all-time high of almost $460. Bayou, same thing. It did take a bit longer, but now it's sitting around about 625. And Underground Sea has dropped, but it's sitting at around $1,100 still. If I go to TCG market price, I wonder if I can even find any of them quality. So you got a lightly played $869 Underground Sea. There is actually quite a few out there, but then now that it's in TCG's hands, it's up to them to figure out if they want to sell this or just hold on to it, knowing that at some point people will buy these kinds of prices. Because I think there was a post done where a lot of these big name shops actually bought in or asked for a higher price, or were ready to give a higher price for some of these cards to bring back the inventory. They pretty much got rid of all of it in July and May, June, July, August last year. So we'll have to see how that goes. Anyways, guys, sorry for making this a bit more of a rambling video, but I just want to capture the entire market. And I'll see what else is going to happen in the next couple of days. But Strixhaven is going to make a lot of things move, and we haven't probably seen the end of some of these other cards, whether in reserve list cards or even from the previous sets. Anyways, have a good one, and talk to you guys later. See ya.